The alien armada floated above the red ruins of Mars, its silver ships shining like stars, banners of victory lighting the black sky. The battle was over, or so they believed. Humanity, they said, was finished. Their greatest cities burned, their fleets were gone, and Earth itself was silent beneath layers of smoke and ash. On the flagship Valrune, Admiral Syraxis raised his glass of liquid gold, the alien equivalent of wine. To victory, he said proudly. To the fall of the savage world. Around him, alien officers laughed, their eyes glowing with arrogance. Holograms of burning human colonies flickered across the hall, cheers echoing through the ship. They broadcast their celebration live across the galaxy. Billions watched, trillions celebrated for centuries. Humans had been a nuisance, a stubborn young race that refused to kneel. But now the galaxy believed they were gone, wiped out like dust after a storm. The Galactic Council sent congratulations. Calling it a day of peace, Admiral Syraxis smiled. Peace at last, he said. The humans are extinct. But deep below the surface of Earth, far beneath the blackened crust, the truth was very different. In a vast underground command center, filled with flickering lights and humming machines, humanity was not dead. They were waiting, silent and angry. Commander Elena Ward stood before a massive screen, her uniform old but clean, her eyes tired but sharp. She had been fighting since the first day of invasion, and she had lost everything, yet her voice was calm. Let them celebrate, she said quietly. They earned their moment. Beside her, a young officer frowned. Ma'am, the alien transmissions are everywhere. They're declaring victory. Elena nodded slowly. Good, she whispered. The louder they celebrate, the harder they'll fall. Behind her, hundreds of humans worked tirelessly in the hidden bunker. Engineers checked old weapon systems. Soldiers cleaned rifles that hadn't been fired in years. Giant doors lined with steel began to open with deep mechanical groans, revealing something massive and ancient. Machines humanity had built when they still had hope. A glowing red light came to life across the control panel. A voice echoed from the main console, cold and mechanical. Project Phoenix reactivation sequence initiated. The bunker shook gently as ancient power cells recharged, lighting up rows of hidden war machines buried under Earth's crust. Titan-class warships that had been sleeping, waiting for this day outside. The alien fleet continued its celebration. Fireworks exploded in orbit, bright colors painting the emptiness of space. Alien ships danced in formation, proud of their victory. Humanity was brave, said one alien commander on the news broadcast. But bravery does not defeat the inevitable. Down below, humanity's last commander smiled at the irony. Inevitable, she said softly. We'll see about that. The humans were careful. Every move they made was silent. Every signal was hidden under natural radiation. They knew the aliens were watching for signs of life, but they also knew arrogance made the best blindfold. At the edge of the bunker, two soldiers stood guard, one young, one old. The young one whispered, "Do you really think we can win this time?" The older man looked up at the ceiling, listening to the distant hum of machines waking up. "We don't need to win," he said quietly. "We just need to remind them who we are." Suddenly, the lights dimmed for a moment, the ground vibrated, and a low thunder rolled across the underground chambers. The main monitor flickered, showing the symbol of an old Earth alliance, an emblem once forgotten. It appeared like a ghost from the past. Glowing in blue and white, Commander Elena looked at it and whispered, "Welcome back." Far above, Admiral Syraxis walked to the viewing deck of his flagship. He looked down at Earth, the once blue planet now dark and silent. "A pity," he said coldly. "They could have been great allies, if only they had learned their place." One of his officers approached him, nervous. "Admiral, our sensors are detecting faint energy readings from Earth's southern pole. It could be residual activity from the human bunkers." Syraxis laughed. "Ignore it," he said. "The dead do not rise." But as he turned away, the sensor flickered again, then again. A strange, rhythmic pulse came from deep within Earth, like a heartbeat, slow and steady. The alien officer frowned. "Admiral, that pattern, it's artificial." Before the Admiral could respond, the signal vanished, replaced by silence. He shook his head. "Interference," he muttered. "Probably from their collapsing infrastructure back underground." Commander Elena watched the signal data flash across her own screen. She smiled faintly. "They noticed," she said. "Good." Her communications officer turned to her. Ma'am, do we proceed with activation of Phase 1? Elena stared at the ceiling, imagining the alien fleet laughing above them. Not yet, she said quietly. Let them believe they've won a little longer. She placed her hand on the glowing table. The map of Earth outlined in red. Dozens of underground bases across the planet were still operational. Silent and waiting, humanity wasn't gone. Humanity was hiding in the dark, learning, planning in the distance. Thunder rolled through the underground tunnels, the sound of awakening engines. Somewhere beneath the Pacific Ocean, a massive mechanical shape began to stir, its armor plates glowing faintly blue. The machine's core came alive for the first time in years. Above, the alien fleet toasted again. The galaxy laughed, but in the shadows of a dying planet, humanity's eyes opened once more. Commander Elena whispered to herself, her voice calm but fierce. They think it's over, she said, but it's not over. Not today. Far beneath the surface of the dying Earth, silence ruled the tunnels. The air was thick with the smell of oil, metal, and dust, only broken by the soft humming of machines waking from years of sleep. Humanity had gone quiet for a reason, and that silence was now turning into strength. Commander Elena Ward stood in the command chamber, the main screen filled with static before slowly revealing an image of the world above. Dead cities, frozen oceans, and a sky full of alien ships celebrating their so-called victory. She watched without emotion, her fingers tracing the edge of a steel table. Her second-in-command, Captain Imani Cruz, entered the room. Her voice low. Ma'am, Project Phoenix is online. All underground power grids are stable. The reactors are fully active, Elena nodded. And communication status? Encrypted channels are operational, but we are maintaining full radio silence, Imani replied. Our satellites remain hidden under the sea ice, no signals are leaking. The aliens still think we're gone? Elena smiled faintly. Good, we'll keep it that way. Behind them, hundreds of crew members worked like shadows. Engineers connecting power lines, soldiers loading weapons that hadn't seen the light of day in years. Everyone moved with quiet focus, no laughter, no noise. Only purpose in the hangar bay. Rows of massive armored vehicles lined the walls. Their paint faded, but their hearts alive with power. On the far end of the room, a huge steel door opened slowly, steam bursting out as it revealed something vast. A dark silver warship buried under layers of rock. Its hull bore the faded letters HSS Titan. The crew stared at it in awe. The Titan had been built during the first invasion. A last hope that never got to fly now. After decades of silence, it was returning to life inside the ship's core. A voice spoke deep and calm. Reactor stable, systems nominal. Awaiting command. Commander Elena looked up at the sound. Welcome back. Old friend, she whispered meanwhile. At the outer edges of Earth's orbit, small alien scout ships patrolled the skies. One of them detected a faint power fluctuation from the southern pole. Command, we are reading minor activity from the human planet, said the alien pilot through his comms. Should we investigate? The alien command replied lazily. Proceed, but keep it brief. Probably just radiation from their destroyed cities. The scout ship descended through the burned atmosphere, passing through storms of dust and lightning as it neared Antarctica. Its sensors picked up something impossible, a faint signal pulsing in a repeating pattern. The pilot frowned. That's structured data, command, it's not random. Before he could finish, the signal cut off, his radar went blank, and a deep voice filled his cockpit speaking in old Terran English. You shouldn't have come here, the alien screamed as the ship's systems froze. A massive energy surge came from below the ice, swallowing the scout ship in a flash of blue light. Then silence in orbit, the alien command lost contact. Scout 9, respond, they called. Scout 9, respond. Nothing, only static back underground. Commander Elena watched the readings appear on her screen. Contact neutralized, said a soldier beside her. Elena nodded. Good work. Imani crossed her arms. They'll notice the loss, ma'am. They already have, Elena replied. Her eyes focused on the tactical map. But they'll dismiss it, they always do. Arrogance blinds faster than darkness. She turned toward the control center. Activate Oceanic Network, I want to know the status of the Pacific bases. Moments later, holograms flickered to life across the room, displaying hidden underwater stations deep below the ocean, massive domes of metal, glowing faintly in the dark waters. Each was connected to the other by underground tunnels. A voice came through the static. This is Commander Lee from Poseidon Base. We are online and operational. Submarine Fleet 1 is ready, awaiting your orders. Elena smiled slightly. Good to hear your voice. Lee, keep the fleet hidden, the time isn't right yet. Understood. Ma'am, he replied, we've waited this long. We can wait a bit more. Back on the surface, dark clouds covered the sky. A storm, unlike any seen before, was building over the Pacific. Lightning arched across the heavens as if nature itself sensed what was coming. Inside the alien flagship Valroon, Admiral Syraxis stood before his officers. Scout 9 is missing. Another human ghost story, he said with a smirk. They can't even stay dead properly. One officer hesitated. Sir, there have been multiple reports of strange energy bursts from Earth's oceans. Perhaps we should... Syraxis interrupted. We won, Captain. Do not insult our victory by chasing shadows. But the officer couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. That night, as the alien fleet continued its endless celebration, the first of humanity's hidden drones rose silently through the sea, their small metallic eyes glowing red as they recorded the sky above. Commander Elena watched the feed from her control room. They're still partying, she said quietly. They don't even know what's coming. Imani turned to her. Do we start phase 2? Elena shook her head. Not yet. Not until all bases confirm readiness. She leaned forward, staring at the flickering image of the alien armada, celebrating above Earth. Let them dance, let them drink, she whispered. When they finally look down, it'll be too late. A deep rumble echoed through the tunnels. The old war machines awakening one by one, the ground shook, dust falling from the ceiling like soft rain. Somewhere in the distance, a soldier whispered, It's starting. Commander Elena closed her eyes for a moment, remembering all the people humanity had lost, all the worlds burned, all the names forgotten. She opened her eyes again, cold and determined. This time, she said, we're not fighting to survive, we're fighting to end it. The lights dimmed slightly, and the sound of engines filled the bunker like a heartbeat, steady, strong, alive above in the void of space. The alien armada glowed with light and laughter, unaware that far below them, the heart of humanity had started to beat again. And in the command center of Earth's last hope, Commander Elena whispered into the silence. Echoes beneath the earth, that's what they call us, she said. Let's make sure they never forget the sound. The night over Earth's oceans was darker than space itself. The storm had spread across the Pacific like a living thing. Lightning flashed in the clouds and thunder rolled across the endless waves. Deep below that chaos, in the cold black water, humanity's greatest secret waited. The Poseidon base rested at the bottom of the ocean trench, its walls thick with steel and hope. Inside, hundreds of soldiers stood ready. The command deck glowed faintly blue as holograms flickered to life. Commander Lee, the man in charge of the base, stood before his crew, his eyes fixed on the rising power readings. All systems online, a voice said. Submarine fleet is fully charged, Commander Lee nodded, his voice steady. Then it's time. He turned toward the main screen, where the old Earth Alliance symbol appeared. Project Phoenix has been quiet long enough, he said. Let the ocean breathe. The floor vibrated as the giant floodgates opened, revealing dozens of colossal war machines hidden for decades beneath the sea. Their hulls were dark, sleek, and scarred by time. On their sides were names like HSS Leviathan, HSS Horizon, and HSS Titan. Each ship's reactor came to life with a low hum, glowing with the color of deep blue plasma. The water churned violently as the engines ignited. Shaking the ocean floor, status report, Lee ordered. Leviathan ready, Horizon ready, Titan-class vessel fully operational, came the replies one after another. Lee took a deep breath, his heart pounding. Then rise, he whispered. Above, the ocean began to boil. The waves twisted and swirled as massive shapes broke through the surface, sending walls of water into the air. The storm above lit up their outlines, giant metallic beasts rising from the deep. From orbit, the alien armada watched in confusion. Their scanners picked up strange energy surges from the planet below. Admiral, new signatures detected, an alien officer shouted. Massive readings from the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Syraxis frowned. Impossible, he said. No life remains there. But the readings grew stronger one after another, until the entire alien sensor network was filled with glowing red warnings. Then the ocean erupted. The HSS Titan rose through the storm, lightning flashing across its armored hull, its cannons extended, its engines burning brighter than any alien ship had ever seen. Behind it, dozens of smaller vessels followed, forming a wall of steel and fury. In the command room beneath Earth, Commander Elena watched the scene unfold through satellite feeds. Her lips curved into a cold smile. "The Shadow Fleet lives," she whispered. Captain Imani turned to her, eyes wide. "They actually did it," Elena nodded. "Yes. And now the galaxy will see the ocean bleed fire." Back in orbit, panic spread through the alien ranks. "Admiral, unknown vessels are ascending fast. Targeting vectors show they're armed." Syraxis slammed his hand on the console. "Engage them. Destroy them before they breach orbit." But before the alien ships could react, the first human missile tore through the sky, glowing like a falling star. It hit an alien cruiser dead center, turning it into a ball of flame and broken metal. On the HSS Titan, Commander Lee gave the order. Fire again. The fleet obeyed. The ocean became a weapon, missiles launching in perfect rhythm, cutting through the clouds, explosions lighting up the heavens. The alien fleet tried to fight back, their plasma cannons lighting the sky. But the human ships moved like predators, fast, hidden under clouds and storms, their stealth technology confusing enemy sensors. Admiral Syraxis shouted, "They can't have this much power. Their planet is dying." But no one answered him. Every second, another alien ship vanished from the radar, consumed by human fire. In the dark of the command room, Commander Elena spoke through a secure channel, her voice calm and deadly. "Shadow Fleet, this is Earth Command." "You are clear to engage," Lee replied. "Understood, Commander." "For humanity." "For humanity," Elena echoed. Far above the storm, the HSS Titan reached the edge of space, its cannons glowing red in one powerful blast. It unleashed an electromagnetic pulse that spread across the alien formation. The alien ships flickered, their lights dying one by one. "Their systems going dark, Admiral. Our control systems are offline." One alien shouted, "We're blind." The Admiral's eyes widened in horror. "How?" he demanded. "How did they do this?" "Down on Earth," Commander Elena whispered the answer to herself. "Because we learned from you." The human fleet emerged from the clouds, engines blazing, weapons locked. The storm itself seemed to follow them, wrapping around their ships like a cloak. On the bridge of the Titan, Commander Lee looked at the holographic map. "Targets locked," he said. "Then fire everything," Elena's voice replied from the command link. Dozens of missiles launched at once, trails of light cutting through the darkness. Explosions bursting in orbit, the alien armada's proud formation shattered like glass, their victory celebrations turning into chaos and screams. The galaxy's broadcast, still connected from the alien fleet's celebration, suddenly filled with images of burning ships, explosions, and static. Trillions of viewers watched in silence as the truth unfolded. Humanity was not dead. Humanity was fighting back. Inside the alien flagship, alarms blared. "Admiral, half the fleet is gone." Syraxis trembled with rage. "They were supposed to be extinct," he roared. "They were supposed to be—" His words cut off as a new transmission appeared on his main screen. It was human, a voice calm and cold. "This is Commander Elena Ward of Earth," it said. "We don't die that easily." The Admiral's eyes widened. You're supposed to be Ash." Elena smiled faintly on the screen. "Ash can still burn," she said. Then the transmission ended. Leaving only silence below, the ocean settled again, waves falling back into calm darkness. But above, in orbit, the real war had just begun. The Shadow Fleet had risen, and the galaxy had finally remembered the one truth it had forgotten. Humanity never surrenders. Space burned above Earth. The once calm void was now a storm of light and fire. Alien ships spun out of control, colliding, exploding, and falling into the atmosphere like falling stars. Humanity's hidden fleet had risen from the oceans, and now it was no longer hiding on the HSS Titan. Commander Lee stood on the bridge, surrounded by flashing lights and shaking metal. His crew worked fast, voices steady despite the chaos. "Target lock confirmed on enemy flagship," said the weapons officer. "Hold fire," Lee ordered, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. "Let them see what's coming." Above him, the alien flagship Valrune floated in flames, several decks destroyed, power flickering inside. Admiral Syraxis roared in anger, his voice echoing across the bridge. "Where is our support fleet?" "Destroyed, Admiral," an officer replied weakly. "Half of our vessels are gone, and their attacks? They're coordinated, impossible for a dying species." Syraxis slammed his fist against the console. "No, they're animals. They don't have strategy." But he was wrong. Every human ship moved like a part of one mind, linked through the Phoenix network. an ancient AI reborn from old Terran defense systems. The human fleet wasn't fighting with chaos, it was fighting with precision. Commander Elena Ward watched the entire battle from her underground command room. Her face was lit by the orange glow of the orbital feeds, explosions blooming like flowers in the darkness of space. Phase 3 is complete, Captain Imani reported. Their communications are scrambled, their supply fleet is gone. They're fighting blind. Elena nodded slowly. Good, now bring in the upper atmosphere drones. Let's close the cage. In the upper atmosphere, hundreds of small human drones, stealth machines once meant for meteor defense, activated for the first time in years. They formed an invisible web around the planet, cutting off any chance of escape for the alien ships. Inside the Valroon, alarms blared again. Admiral, something's interfering with our jump drives. What now? Syraxis shouted. It's coming from Earth's upper layer. Unknown satellites. Syraxis froze, disbelief in his voice. They've trapped us? No one answered. They all knew the truth. The humans hadn't just returned to fight, they had planned this for years, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The HSS Titan and its sister ships began to close in, their massive engines glowing red. The void between them and the alien fleet filled with streaks of plasma and debris. Onboard, Commander Lee's voice echoed through the comms. Human fleet, focus fire on the command vessels. Leave no survivors, missiles launched in perfect synchronization. Guided by old AI codes, they pierced alien shields like glass. One explosion after another lighting up the void. Direct hit on 3 enemy carriers. A human officer shouted, confirmed kills. Another added. Lee smiled grimly. Keep pressure on them, don't let up. Meanwhile, in the alien command bridge, chaos reigned. Officers screamed as consoles exploded, electric sparks raining down like meteors. Syraxis struggled to stand, the floor trembling beneath him. Admiral, one of his lieutenants said in terror. Their signal? It's everywhere, every frequency, every channel. What signal? Syraxis demanded. Then he heard it. A human voice, calm and steady, echoing through every alien ship. You celebrated too early, the voice said. And now you face the cost. The Admiral's blood ran cold. It wasn't just a broadcast, it was being played back on their own systems. Twisted through their communications array. Shut it off, he ordered, now. But the systems ignored him. Instead, the voice grew louder, accompanied by a deep humming sound. The human AIs had broken through their firewalls and were taking control. Admiral, another officer shouted, they're in our network. Our navigation is compromised. The Valroon shook violently as several smaller ships crashed into one another. The human fleet had turned the aliens' own sensors against them. Commander Elena watched the chaos from Earth. They're choking on their own systems, she murmured. Exactly as planned, ma'am, Imani said softly. We've just intercepted a distress signal from the Galactic Council fleet. They're watching this live. Elena looked at her with cold eyes. Good, let them watch. In orbit, the HSS Titan turned its main cannon toward the enemy flagship. The weapon's core glowed brighter and brighter, charging for one final strike. Target locked, the weapons officer said. Awaiting your command, Lee took a breath, thinking of all the years of pain. All the voices silenced when Earth burned. Fire, he said. A beam of energy erupted from the Titan's cannon, cutting through space like a blade. It struck the Valroon dead center, splitting the massive ship in half. For a moment it hung in the void, glowing like a dying star, then shattered into burning fragments. The shockwave rippled across the entire battlefield. The alien fleet froze in horror, their admiral gone, their command destroyed. From the ground, the sky lit up. Millions of humans hiding in underground bunkers looked up at the screens showing the flames above. For the first time in decades, they saw hope on the human command deck. Silence filled the room. Only the soft hum of the machines remained. Commander Elena stood straight, her eyes still fixed on the fading light of the alien wreckage. Is it done? She asked quietly. Imani nodded. The flagship is gone. The remaining fleet is retreating. They're running. Ma'am, Elena exhaled slowly. Let them run. They need to carry the message. She turned toward the communications console, her voice calm and deadly. Send this transmission to the Galactic Council. Unencrypted. What message, ma'am? Elena looked up at the sky feed, her tone steady. Tell them, she said. Humanity stands. And as her words echoed across the void, the once mighty alien armada fell silent, ships burning, engines dying. Their celebration turned into the greatest defeat the galaxy had ever seen. Far from Earth on distant worlds, alien leaders watched in disbelief. Some trembled, others whispered in fear, because for the first time in history, the galaxy understood the truth. You can defeat humanity's cities, but never its spirit. The stars above Earth were quiet again. The fires of battle faded, leaving trails of glowing debris floating across the darkness. The alien armada, once proud and countless, was broken. Scattered like dust before the wind, humanity had done the impossible. They had survived, and they had won. In the underground command center, Commander Elena Ward stood before the giant screen, her reflection faint against the burning light of orbit. Her voice was calm, almost too calm for the destruction that echoed above. "Status report," she said. Captain Imani Cruz stepped forward. "Enemy flagship destroyed. Their main communication relay offline. The remaining ships are retreating toward Council space." Elena nodded slowly. "And our losses?" Imani looked down. 17 vessels damaged, 3 destroyed, but most of the crew survived. A faint smile touched Elena's lips. "We did it," she whispered. Then her tone hardened again. "Prepare a broadcast. I want the galaxy to hear us all around her." The humans in the command room stood taller. They knew what this moment meant after years of silence, fear, and pain. Humanity would finally speak again in orbit. The HSS Titan floated above the clouds like a guardian, its hull scorched but still strong. Commander Lee looked at the message coming from Earth. "Global broadcast?" he asked. "Yes," the technician replied. "All frequencies, all languages," Lee nodded. "Then let them hear." Across the galaxy, screens flickered to life. The same channels that once showed alien parades of victory now displayed static. Then the image cleared and the face of a human appeared. Commander Elena Ward stood tall in her worn-out uniform, her eyes cold as steel. "This is Commander Ward of Earth," she began, her voice echoing through every star system. "To those who watched and celebrated our end, congratulations, you were early." Silence fell across 1,000 alien worlds. "For years you believed we were extinct," Elena continued. "You called us savages, you called us unstable, dangerous, unfit for the stars." Her eyes burned. "And yet when the galaxy united to destroy us, you failed." She took a deep breath, her tone lowering. "You burned our skies. You poisoned our oceans, and you thought that was the end. But humanity does not end, we endure." Images of Earth's oceans filled the screens, the rising warships, the storms, the flashes of light that destroyed the alien fleet. The galaxy watched in silence, some in awe, some in terror. "Let this be clear," Elena said. "We did not rise for revenge. We rose to remind you that peace cannot be built on chains." On a distant world, the Galactic Council sat frozen in their grand chamber, their faces pale. The same leaders who had funded the destruction of Earth now stared at the broadcast in disbelief. "Who authorized this?" One of them whispered. "How did they survive?" Elena's face filled their screens again. "You wanted a galaxy without humans," she said. "But the galaxy without us has no balance, no courage, no soul." Her voice grew sharper. "You thought the fire of Earth was gone, but that fire burns in every one of us." She leaned forward slightly, her eyes like storms. "You can threaten us again. You can send your fleets, your armies, your machines. But remember this. Every time you raise your hand against humanity, you will hear these words." The signal paused for a moment, and then, in a voice that carried through every frequency in the galaxy, she said it. "Not today." The words hit like thunder, echoing from star to star. Across alien worlds, broadcasts froze, soldiers hesitated, and civilians stared at the screen in silence. On the bridge of the HSS Titan, Commander Lee stood straight, whispering the same words under his breath. "Not today." In the alien remains above Earth, a single damaged cruiser tried to flee. Its engines sputtered as it entered hyperspace, carrying the message to the Council worlds, carrying the memory of defeat. Commander Elena watched from below as the final enemy blip vanished from the radar. She closed her eyes for a moment, the exhaustion finally catching up to her. "It's over," she whispered. Captain Imani looked at her with quiet pride. "You did it, ma'am." Elena shook her head. "No, we did it all across Earth." Hidden bunkers opened for the first time in years. The survivors stepped out, their eyes meeting the sunlight breaking through the clouds. The air smelled of rain and smoke, but it was fresh, it was real. Children looked at the sky, not with fear but with wonder. Soldiers dropped their weapons, staring at the horizon glowing with dawn. Humanity had come back from ashes stronger than before. In the ruins of what was once New York, a group of engineers raised a flag. Its colors faded, but its meaning alive. It fluttered in the wind above the cracked ground. Commander Elena stepped outside her base, feeling the wind on her face. The warmth of sunlight for the first time in years. Beside her, Imani smiled softly. What now? Elena looked up at the sky, where pieces of alien ships still burned as they fell. Now we rebuild, she said quietly. But this time, we build for the stars. She turned to her officers. Begin recovery operations. Send rescue teams to every surviving colony. Humanity isn't done yet. From orbit, the camera feed of the HSS Titan showed Earth slowly healing beneath the clouds. The human fleet floated above, battered but victorious. Like angels forged in fire, a new age had begun, an age where humanity no longer begged for peace, but defined it. And as the galaxy listened, remembering the voice that shattered their arrogance, one truth spread across every corner of space, whispered in fear, in awe, in respect. When humanity says not today, it means forever.